Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the DaVinci Resolve tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 15, where I'll be showing you guys about color grading in DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so I'll be showing you guys how you will be able to color grade into your video in DaVinci Resolve, some of the basic things which you need to know while color grading over here into this particular software. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here on my screen, as you guys can see that now I'm here in the workspace or here in the edit page of the DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so for the thing, what you guys can basically do is you guys can check out all these videos using which you do wanna work. Let's come down. Let's take out this particular video. Okay, let's check this one right from here. If you want to see the preview a little bit, you guys can come here and check the preview. And after that, let's bring this one down over here into my timeline. Okay, so I will come here. I will just bring this particular thing over onto my timeline. Let's place it right over here. And I'll just place it exactly over here onto my timeline. And the total duration of the video, which I do have it here on my screen, is around 9 seconds and 13 frames. Okay, so once you're done with this particular thing, and if you do want to do the color grading from the page here underneath, you need to go here into the color page. Okay, so once you are over here into the color page, you guys can see you will have an interface quite like this. Okay, so if you do want to come here, you guys can see that you do have a lot of options regarding this. Here you guys can see you guys will be able to put on different kind of keyframes. Here you do have the preview window, and after that over here you will be able to do or you will be able to work using the nodes. Okay, so here you guys can see that over here you guys will be able to add different kind of nodes over here. Okay, so if you don't see this kind of interface, you guys can come here, go to your workspace, and you guys can actually reset the UI layout. Okay, so make sure to select the reset the UI layout, which will actually reset your whole workspace back again to the same way. Okay, so let's come over here and let's try to understand that how you're going to work with all of these options. Okay, so here you guys can see here you do have different kind of curves. Okay, so for that, if I come here, let's say do want to increase the size a little bit. Let's come here, and if you do want to make this one a bit bigger, you guys can come here and make this one up a little bigger as well. Okay, so over here, first thing first, I will come on to the curves option. Okay, and onto the curves option, I'll be doing two things basically. Okay, so first thing first, I will come here and I will just work over here. Okay, so I will come here and basically I will work on color grading first. Okay, so over into this particular footage, what I can do is I can basically put on some color correction over here. And if I right click, if you do want to add any kind of node, you guys can come here and you guys can actually put up another node, and you guys can select this one as the corrector, and there you guys can basically do the color grading. Okay, so the first one is color correction, and afterwards you guys can add another node in which you guys can do your color grading. Okay, so DaVinci is basically known for its ability for color grading because it actually does a higher level of color grading. So for that, as you guys can see, I do have this particular curve right over here. The main thing or the first thing what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to come here and I'm going to add three more values. Okay, let's come here. Let's add one over here in the exact center, and one at the last. Okay, so now I have selected this one, and what I can do is I will just decrease this one a little bit. Okay, as you guys can see the changes over here. So I will come here and or hold this keyframe, and I will just make it a bit dark over here on the side. And what I can do now is I will just increase it a little bit over here. And again, I will just make it a bit dark over here as well. Okay, so you guys can come here and check this thing around. Okay, so once you are done with this, I will just pause this thing up again. Let's come here, and under the curves option, you guys can see you do have a lot of options as well. Okay, so here you do have the curve. If you do want to add the color match option, and if you do want to see the color wheels, you guys can come here and you guys can check out all these color wheels as well. Okay, so under color wheels here, you guys can see that you do have the temperature. Let's say if you want to come here, if you do want to increase the temperature, you guys can increase the temperature a little bit. Okay, so for that, again, I will just come here onto the graph, and on the graph what I can do is I will just go with a bit darker. And again, now I will come here onto my color wheels, and maybe I will just increase the temperature a little bit right over here. Let's go with 280. Okay, so 280 is fine. If you do want to add any kind of tint, you guys can come here and you guys can, let's say, add a 50 tint over here, and you guys can check on to the contrast if you do want to put out any contrast on the sides. Okay, let me put 1 point, and I don't want to put any pivot. But over here, if you do want to put out any mid-tone, you guys can come here and you guys can add up a mid-tone as well. Okay, and also, if you do want to increase the saturation, you guys can come here and increase the saturation accordingly. Okay, so I will just increase the saturation. If you want to increase the shadows, you guys can come here and increase the shadows. But for this particular image, I don't want my shadows. Okay, so let's come right over here. If you do want to check out all of these keyframes, or if you do want to check out the scopes, you guys can come here and you guys can actually check out from the scopes as well. Okay, so here you guys can basically give out different color. As you guys can see, this one will actually give you some nice balance between all the colors. Okay, so for lift, what it does, it actually lifts out the color of the whole thing. Okay, but over here into the offset, you guys can see you guys can actually get it a bit cold. Okay, so I will just go on with the bluish size, and over here in the gain, you guys can come here and I won't put out much gain. And also under gamma, I will go with something other colors. Okay, so you guys can come here and you can basically move this one apart as well. Let's come here, let's move this one again over here onto the center. Okay, you guys can come here and you guys can basically go on to with this color. And once you're done, again, what you guys can do is you guys can just go to color match option, otherwise color wheel. And over here, you guys can see that also over here, I do have the high dynamic range color wheels. Okay, so here you guys can work as well. Let's go on to the curves. And once you're over here in the curves, here also what you guys can do is now here you do have the option known as hue versus hue. Okay, so as you guys can see, let's say I want to basically focus onto this red or this maroon color. Okay, so for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a keyframe or a point right over here and another point over here as well. Okay, so over here, if you guys just take a look, you guys can see how it actually changes. Okay, let's come here, and if you do want to work on with the curve, you guys can see I am able to work on with the curve over here. Okay, so once you're done with the hue versus hue, let's come here and let's check the hue versus saturation option. Okay, so I will just start on the hue versus saturation option. And what I want to do is I just want to focus more. Okay, let's come here and over here now, let's go with this particular color right here. And you guys can actually check how it will basically work. Okay, and if you want to come here, if you do want to delete it, you guys can come here and delete these points as well. Okay, so let's come here. If you just click once, you guys can see the changes. Okay, so let me come over here, and over here also, let me add another keyframe. Let's come here and let's put this keyframe right over here, and also this keyframe right over here again. Okay, so once you're done with this part, let's go to hue versus sat. Okay, and from here now I need to choose what color am I exactly looking for. Okay, so over here onto the background, if you guys take up a look, that they do have something like a brown color. Okay, so I can come here and I can just add up a frame over here. And also, let's say I want to add up a frame right over here. So I will just increase this frame a little bit. And what I'll do is I will just decrease the red frame up more as well. Okay, so over here, you guys can see I do have a change this particular thing right over here. And once you're done with this particular part, this one looks quite nice. Okay, so if you do want to see it over here in the edit option, you guys can see this is how it used to look, and this is how it looks now, which the image is basically popping out more. So let's go to the color grading, and now let's try to add a node. So let's click on add node, and let's go to character, and now I do have added this particular node. So I will just come here, join this particular thing right over here. And again, once you're done with this hue and set, I will come here and now I want to work on with the hue and the luminance. Okay, so for that, again, I will just add a keyframe right over here, another keyframe over here again. And now let me just decrease it right from here. Okay, let me go with a bit darker. Okay, so here you guys can see the tone over here is actually decreasing as well. Let's come down a little bit, and here you guys can see how it actually looks. Okay, so once you're done with that as well, let's go to the loom and stat. Okay, so under the loom and stat option, what I will be able to do is I will come here, and from here I need to focus on the dark zone and also the lighter zone. Okay, so I will add both these keyframes over here. First, let me just focus on the darker side. Okay, so I will just increase the darkness in my image, and what I'll do is I will just decrease the whiteness of my image a little bit. Okay, so over here now again, let's go to the edit photo, and here you guys can see this is how it will look. Okay, so let's go to the color grading option again. Okay, so from the color grading option, here you guys can see you do have the saturation versus saturation. You do have the luminance versus saturation. Okay, so I won't overuse all of these things up. Okay, so I'm not trying to use overuse all these things over here. And what you can do is you guys can just place both of these things side by side. Let's come here, let's place both of these things side by side, which looks quite great. And if you don't want to zoom into this clip, you guys can come here and basically zoom into this node area over here as well. Okay, so once you are done with this particular part, what you guys can also do is you guys can actually go here, and let's say I just want to see this clip and I want to work with the LUTs right now. Okay, so you guys can check what kind of LUTs are you looking for. Okay, so you guys can come here and you guys can basically check all these LUTs. If you do want to put out any LUTs over here, you guys can also do that. Otherwise, you guys can just right click and you guys can go to LUTs and basically put the LUTs from here as well. Okay, so over here there is adding node option. Over here there are a lot of things which you guys can use over here. So let's say if I just come here, apply this one. Let's say if I come here and if I just apply this particular thing as well. Otherwise, let's go to this data to video option. And over here, you guys can see there are a lot of options which you guys can basically use. Okay, so you guys can come here and use those things up. Okay, so for now, I'm not trying to apply this once. Okay, so for that, you guys can basically come here. You guys can check that do you have any favorite LUTs or not. Okay, so if you do have any favorite utilities, you guys can come here and add those as well. So now again, let's go to the curve, and here you guys can see that I do have this custom curve option, and let's just add few of these things up. And what you guys can do is you guys can basically work on with these frames. Okay, so let's select this one, and over here you guys can see that I am able to work on with this particular frames right over here. Let's put it right here. And once you're done, you guys can basically save. Okay, so if you want to see before and after of this image, now this one looks more popped up. Okay, so I do have added this keyframe, which I will just undo. Okay, so I will come here and let's say I will just undo this particular part, and I can basically find out uh balance between that. Let's come here, let's just delete this. Let's come here, I will just right click over here, and also towards this frame. Okay, I will just come here and I want to just apply some right color. So let's come here, let's apply this over here. And also, if you come here, if you want to go to the gallery, if you want to upload anything, you guys can come here and do these things as well. And also, if you just go to this effects option, and under effects, if you want to search, and let's go with the vignette. And from here, I can basically apply this vignette over here as well. Okay. So for that, you guys can come here and you guys can just apply the vignette option over here. Let's say I will come here and I want to add it right onto this particular frame. Okay, so I do have added the vignette over here into the second frame. And what I can do is I can just click on to the basic option. And now I will just decrease the vignette size. Okay, so let me just go with 0.8 and let's click on enter. And now you guys can actually select the softness as well. Okay, so let's come here and let's just take out the softness as 0.75. Let's click on enter. And here you guys can see I do have applied vignette over here as well. Okay. So once you are done, you do have applied LUT as well. Okay. You do have applied all those things. If you want to check out the note color, if you do want to change it, you guys can come here and you guys can change the note color over here as well. Okay. And if you guys do have used any other software before, okay, you guys know that here this is the composition mode, especially if you do have used the Photoshop. Okay, so I hope you guys do have understood a basic about how you will do color grading, how you will put different kind of effects inside that. Okay, so this one is basically the color correction page. Okay, so if you do want to turn it off, you guys can come here and you guys can turn it off as well. But once you come here and let's say I will just come here and link this one with this spacing as well, here you guys can see how the color basically pops up. Okay, so this is the before and this one is the after. Okay, so let's come here and if you do want to match, okay, you guys can come here and you guys can just match frames. Okay, so here this is how it used to look before and this is how it used to look now after you did the color grading. So yeah, I hope to see you all in the next chapter where I'll be showing you guys how to export your file once you're done with each and everything. So see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye everyone.